What's up, everybody? Last time we saw the Flannery brothers, they were on the run and headed to Atlanta. Meech had just been shot by Lamar. Denise had just been arrested with 3 kilos. On top of that, they owed Boom money for the work that just got ceased by the cops. And Lamar was still trying to hunt them down all the way until they got onto I-75 South. To make matters worse, they were flat broke. All the money they had was a little bit of money Charles gave them before they left town. So the first move before getting to Atlanta was making a pit stop in Cleveland to meet up with their cousin James, who decided to buy a new car instead of paying back Meech for the work that he was fronted. So Meech tracks down James, beats him down real good, takes his keys. Then they take the car to the chop shop and were able to come up with 15 G's. Hoping the 15 G's would be enough for a down payment and someone would front them the work, they meet up with K9's boy Earl. But Earl let them know no one is fronting in a drought and the 15 G's was not enough. But he knew a guy who could turn 1 into 2. That's turn 1 kilos into 2 kilos. He knew a trick. But Terry wasn't hearing that and wanted to get in on a dice game so he could flip his money. So Earl took the brothers to Goldie. This is when Terry decided to bet all his half of the money, $7,500, all in one game. But Goldie and Earl were running game on Meech and T, and the dice were fixed, so T lost all his money that quick. And to make matters worse, Meech had made a side bet on Terry, and he also lost all of his money, his half of the $15,700 as well. After that, they meet up with Ty Washington, who is living large. He first bought Meech and T tickets to a football game, and then he brought them to his big, luxurious house on a lake. But even though Ty is living large, he still wasn't going to front Meech and T the work in a drought. He let them know that it was in God we trust or bust. Ty Washington also gave Meech and T a word of advice that you never make a move like that before figuring out the lay of the land. And he told them to stop gambling and he ain't get all that he got by throwing away his money. So it was then Meech and T decided to make a move on Goldie, who just played them out of their $7,500 like it was nothing. But instead of robbing Goldie, they told her to put them onto a come up with her fixed dice. But she let them know that nothing in the ATL came for free. So Meech promised her a cut of the winnings. Now Meech and T are in the dice game. Goldie took them to up big time, but the guy running the game noticed something was up and he grabbed T's hand, took the dice, and said if he's not rolling like that with the dice that he just gave him, he gonna kill them both. So T rolled the dice, and lucky for him and Meech, it was a winner. So they got their come up like that and headed back to Ty Washington. But for all the money they had, Ty was only going to give them 5 keys because it was a drought. Keep in mind, they still owe Boom the money for the 5 kilos that he fronted T. And we know Denise got busted with 3 of those kilos, and it was never mentioned what happened to the other 2. So maybe they were somehow ceased. Also, because at the end of last episode, Meech was talking to T like they had nothing left at all. But lucky for Meech and T, they scoped out Ty Washington's boy when they were there the first time, and they figured out that he was Pint, the man they need to know who can turn 1 into 2. But Pint let them know it was going to cost them the price of a bird for him to teach them his trick. So Meech told T to sign over his car and give up his pink slip. Hesitant at first, even calling Meech the devil, T finally gave in. But I'm sure T will be glad he did this, because this trick will have Meech and T coming all the way back up when they get back to Detroit. And when Meech asked Pint how he learned his trick, Pint told him straight up that his dad was a basehead and he didn't want to grow up and be like his dad, so he learned that trick and used it to make money. I say back in Detroit because by this time they have received the good news that Denise had copped a plea and wasn't going to snitch on Terry. But just when everything seems all good in the drug game, trouble seems to follow you. And they get a call from their little sister Nicole that Lamar was at their home with their mom. At this time I'm thinking Lucille's water was got to get cut off. I'm thinking, Charles, come take this L, Charles. Come do something. If you gotta take this L for Lucille, like the boy had to do for Nicole, you gonna have to do that. Mama ain't going down on this episode. But Lucille's prayer stopped Lamar from killing her. But it will be war moving into the next episode and into the second half of the season. And we are still going to have to see what happens with the money that T owes Boom, because it is not known how long it has even been since they left Detroit. My guess is somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks. And they still have to go back to Detroit and sell the weight before they get Boom's money. And on top of owing Boom his money, though Denise took a plea and isn't going to snitch on Terry, they did promise to take care of her son who is in college while she is serving her time and make sure all his college expenses are taken care of. And they were told that the first payment needs to be paid really soon. But we do know Meech and T are back united as one. And like Meech said, God don't make no mistakes. And everything that is meant to happen is gonna happen. So there you have it. Meech and T get their first taste of Atlanta. Leave your thoughts in the comments.